Hey everyone, welcome to episode 20 of the After Zero podcast. We're back this week to bring up a couple different things that we'll hit. We have an Aurelion Soul rework in League of Legends. We have 3 new League of Legends games being produced by Riot Forge.
No way.
LVLUP Expos this weekend. Me and Sean are going. Gooey is not. There's some Kick.com migration going on right now with some of the bigger streamers on Twitch and YouTube. We also have some drama with the Final Fantasy XIV Race to World First. So, how are you boys doing?
Good, man.
I'm cool. It feels weird. We usually do this after a raid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and obviously we don't have Nick today. Just had some scheduling concerns, so we're just rolling without him. So he'll be back next week, though. No issues there. But, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a weird timing to do the podcast for us. I feel like we always we've been on a little bit of a schedule now, so. Even though I didn't post, episode 19, I'm posting it late. It is what it is. They'll get over it.
That's all right. We're here either way.
It's always a nice to have a double feature. When TV shows go on their little hiatus for a week and they don't tell you, and they're like, next week's two episode premiere, and you're like, why didn't we just post them? Maybe the editors got lazy.
I wanted this last week.
Yeah, maybe the editors got lazy like I did. I don't know. I'm not in that room.
You didn't get lazy, right? You just forgot to post it.
Well, no, in all fairness, yeah, it's completely done. I think the reason why I forgot was because I had changed the look of everything. I had made different borders, done all this
Jared was like, we're good.
And then and then my brain just spaced it, and especially because I have a really big work project going on that includes editing as well. So I feel like my brain's been more there.
It's kind of coming together.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, I definitely finished that. And it's like, no, you didn't. So, is what it is. But I want to segue to one of the things I mentioned, which Ghetto's voice actor from JJK, which is I forgot the first name of that character, Suguru, the main bad guy, the prime bad sorcerer. Didn't you watch the movie?
I watched the movie, yeah.
Okay, so in the movie, the main bad guy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I actually can't remember the movie. I can't remember that character.
Yeah, I mean, nonetheless, he goes by Ghetto a lot of the time, and the voice actor for him got removed from future iterations of JJK, Jujutsu Kaisen, because he was found cheating on his wife. And I just can't help but think that's completely ridiculous. It kind of brings me back to the points I made before, where who's making these moral lines? Do we really walk into projects and go, I really hope he's faithful? You know what I mean? Maybe I don't know. I just don't. I don't get it.
The only other place that I can think of that does anything about that would be the military. Honestly, outside of that, I guess it can affect your employment. He's not being thrown in jail. It's not like he's going to the brig, But
yeah, I'm just kind of imagine you're working at Walmart and you're like, that guy cheated on his wife. They're like, you know what? Get off my register.
Well, it's just I don't know. How would you control it if you were if you were the head of your own company, right? And whether it's a small team or not, just this person under you, you find this stuff out about them. Does it affect your relationship with them at all?
I feel like interpersonally, but at the same time, I always distance myself from work colleagues regardless. There's always an arm length or more away, because at the end of the day, they're a work colleague. They're not a true friend to me. That's just how I treat my relationships personally. But
I guess if the dude's just trying to stand on some moral high ground or something like that, I'm not going to say that he's wrong for doing it, but I do think that work and play are two separate things.
Yeah, it's not like he's committing. Is it a crime? I don't. I guess it depends on where he is. I don't know if it's no. I guess I don't know if he's if he's the Japanese or English voice actor. I guess that's an important detail because it may be seen differently in Japan, right? I can see that, but I just think it's ridiculous that this type of shit goes on, man. It's bizarre to me.
This is the power of social media. Because
it's not even social media at that point.
Okay, but it is social media because it affects it on the social media platform side, because the ones that are going to give them shit for him being a voice actor still are the social media platforms. So it does degrade their name.
Yeah, companies
in that regard.
companies
Like it
these
definitely
days are
does
just
affect
cutting and running.
Yeah.
I mean, we always talk about, like, before when we talk about certain things that go on, we talk about brand risk and we talk about, different things like that that advertisers look at. And I think it's the same thing, but at the end of the day, I don't I just don't see where that matters to a voice actor. He's not the face of a brand because the face of the brand is a character that's drawn digitally. Like, I just don't understand.
You see the character in the anime. I'm that dude's a fucking cheater.
I don't know. It's hard for me to talk on the topic in general because I don't know like how popular Jujutsu Kaisen is, or even like the voice actor himself. I mean, like you said, he's not the face, but I don't know like what else there is beside that.
I'd venture to say that Jujutsu Kaisen is pretty popular, seeing as how they had a movie premiere within like a year of the first season airing.
And also like the popularity of the character, because the popularity of the character, like individually, I think also has an effect on it.
Yeah, I mean, also we went to segueing into.
He also said
I think we all agree that it's kind of ridiculous. We don't have too many details on the subject, but I think we all agree that it's like we understand where it comes from, but I don't think it's something we agree with. But that kind of led me to my segue to the next one. But
I was say I feel like if it was something more extreme, then I'd have more of a concern. But like him cheating on his wife is just like, oh, that guy's an asshole.
Yeah,
like,
it's like
that's kind of where I sit with it. I don't take it like too much further than that.
I think I think it does come a little bit from putting people on a pedestal. Like when we went to Level Up today, I really think it's bizarre that people want voice actors' signatures. I think that I'm not somebody who gets starstruck, or I don't put voice actors, or anyone for that matter on a pedestal. I can look at someone and be like, wow, that guy's in that movie. That's really sick. Like Christopher Nolan's my favorite director. If I saw Christopher Nolan, I'd be like, holy shit, it's Christopher Nolan. That'd be it. Like I wouldn't be like, do you think he'll sign my left testicle?
I don't know if any of us like anybody in our group really fan out like that. Like
no, well, that was like the thing I got into a talk with Anna about. I was like, if she's like, you would freak out if you met Ryan Reynolds. I'd be like, nah, I'd dab that boy up and be like, yo, what up, dog? Like, yo, dude, you play one of my favorite characters in Marvel. It's dope.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, love your work on Deadpool. Good stuff. Like it's funny because it's like that's what's always funny. Any bit of celebrity I've seen, whether it's like Twitch streamer, gamer, general celebrity, when you just treat them like a person, it actually takes them aback.
Well, dude, they like sit there and actually want to talk to you because you're not fucking fangirling over them.
I feel like when you have that reaction of oh my god or this or whatever, like they have their walls up already because they know it's gonna happen. Yeah. So the moment you do those things, I feel like they definitely have those walls up higher.
Here's another one.
Yeah, like here we go, right? That type of deal. Whereas like for me, it's funny because I remember going to RLCS and like one of my favorite Rocket League players at the time, someone like I demoed my gameplay after, modeled my gameplay after, was there, and we actually went to his booth. I walked up and I was like, hey man, just want to say keep doing your shit, hope you guys win, good luck to you. He was like, oh thanks man. He's like, did you want like a picture thing? I was like, nah bro, I'm good. I was like, I don't want a picture. I don't want you to sign anything. I was like, I just wanted to wish you luck and keep doing what you're doing. He was like, oh, thank you so much for coming up here, man. And he was like, he was very, even like the other guys were like, because there's all these people waiting in line for them.
No, he's like, yo, who's this asshole doesn't want a picture with me?
It's one of two things, right?
That end of the spectrum.
I know there are like celebrities that love the fans that just woo over them, right? Like there are celebrities that do love that shit.
Oh yeah, I mean everyone loves their ego to get stroked a little bit, right? So it's one of two things. It's either he was like, oh, like what the fuck, like what, I'm not good enough for you now, like, or it's like this guy's like not. So I just think it's funny because when we went to Level Up today, none of us put people on a pedestal like that in our friend group anyway. Like I feel like
who all went? I completely forgot that was happening today.
Me and Sean and Victor were there, but I don't know anyone else.
Anna and Sabrina. Sabrina was there earlier, but you guys missed him.
I don't really think my brother knows Sabrina that well, regardless.
Yeah,
I mean, I know who he is though.
I mean, I got that. But I mean, but that kind of segues me to the next part of on like Level Up Expo.
Well, was there a lot of like popular people there?
There's a lot of voice actors actually. I've never been.
Steve Downs, a voice actor for Master Chief.
Of course, Steve Downs. That's me.
Then you had the voice actor for Octane and
Lifeline.
Lifeline.
Bro, hold on.
We're both there.
The voice actor for Goku was there, was he not?
Yeah, Goku and
Goku, Vegeta, they
Yeah.
were both there. A ton of different anime
with the
voice
chick?
actors. No, the American one.
The American one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's a lot. There's actually I didn't realize how much, like, I know it's very anime influenced, but I just didn't realize how much people regarded voice actors on that.
Yeah.
You know, like, I was like, wow, that's
Like,
very
lines
weird.
were
I
packed
wouldn't,
all day.
dude, the lines were long. I was like
Yeah.
very taken aback by the sheer amount of people that would wait in line for that. I do want to say that getting into Level Up Expo looked daunting, but the line moves really fast. So kudos to them.
It took me about an hour and a half to get in.
Took me 10-15 minutes.
Well, I mean, I got there
well,
a few hours before.
I was gonna say, in all fairness, I got there at 4, maybe 3:30. Yeah. So the original rush of everyone trying to get in wasn't this big. It was still a super huge line, but that line was cruising. It's like the fastest way I've ever been into a convention. So if any of you guys were at Level Up Expo, let us know what you guys love. But I mean, there's just a lot of art. That's like my favorite thing about going is I have some art I want to put on my walls. Like some additional acrylic pieces that I want to pick up, which I already know I'm getting the Itadori that we saw today with the little tongue. I'm definitely gonna pick up.
Are these like fan arts and
they're done by artists?
It's like independent artists, like normal.
Okay.
Yeah. They have tons of boosts, man. But there's a DBZ Teen Gohan. I was like definitely copping that for sure. No questions.
Teen Gohan.
And dude, there's a really cool piece that I saw. It was a Samurai Goku.
Yeah.
Samurai that one Vegeta was too. Super clean. Like the Samurai Goku and Vegeta just look super clean.
Oh, dude, or the dripped up Naruto and Dragon Ball
those aren't as cool to me, but I feel like the hype beast, like Android 18, was probably my favorite.
At least they didn't like work in like dumb shit like Supreme or something stupid into the picture.
Like,
it was just like the Sakura one had like Konohai, like, you know, shit on her rather than it being like Supreme or some dumbass shit like that.
I mean, the artwork's always a hit for conventions, I feel like, because there's just a lot of really talented individual artists. But one of my favorite things about Level Up so far was that there was a lot of different things. Because sometimes when you go to a convention, it feels like if you're not into this sole one thing, that you're not going to enjoy yourself, you're not going to have fun, or you're almost just there for your friends. And I felt like with all the different booths and all the different, like, the diversity of Level Up, as far as the anime diversity, the video games, like just general, like it's honestly just kind of video game pop culture. I feel like anything we talk about here was that Level Up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you see any of the pro wrestling?
No.
You didn't see that?
No.
Yeah, so they have a wrestling ring in the back, and they have a bunch of.
Is this like an Adriana Chechik situation where they're gonna like break someone's back?
No. It's actual like a wrestling show that they're putting on. But,
like legit? Is it like
amateur WWE type stuff?
Yeah, that sounds kind of fire. I'm not gonna lie.
It was pretty lit. I'm not gonna lie. We walked by it, and dude, the crowd was
Can you participate?
huge and loud. No.
I don't think. I think Twitch took that away from everyone.
But dude, at one point when we were rolling by, there was like 8 dudes in the ring, and everybody was just getting thrown around.
I mean, we'll definitely have to check that out because that sounds pretty lit. I'm not gonna lie. But I think what's interesting about Level Up as a whole, like I said, is just the diversity of everything. There's a lot of different things going on. Like we saw like you mentioned to us a little bit ago, Sean, not to the podcast, but to us personally, the Def Jam Fight for New York tournament, which goated game. So just some of the community aspects of it, plus especially knowing that Level Up was a smaller convention that's grown to, I mean, booking the Las Vegas Convention Center, which is ginormous.
Yeah.
Like I think that thing is like double the size of Evo to me.
Yeah, it's huge.
Easily.
It is bigger than Evo.
So we'll have to talk more and see what like our favorite things about it were, because I still haven't gone around.
Dude, I still want to go to a convention and like cosplay at least one time.
Yeah.
BlizzCon. Let's make it happen.
I know. I want to go.
I would.
Who do you want to? Who do you want to cosplay as, Sean?
Oh, dude, I'm 150%. If we're going to BlizzCon, I'm doing a paladin.
My favorite thing about going to BlizzCon, I gotta tell you,
Judgment armor.
The best thing about going to BlizzCon is the number of fat Genjis that you see. It's just very enjoyable. Only because Genji has a very distinct build, right? Like he's
Shimano burger.
He's a twig. Like
he's super. He's
your Asian twig.
He's Victor status, bro. Like that
Yeah.
dude is, And watching all these guys who aren't even like fat, but they're just fat Genjis. You get what I mean? Like,
Yeah. it's like me putting on a Genji costume.
Yeah, you'd be like, wow, that guy's really tall. I feel like honestly, BlizzCon cosplays are probably the best cosplays I've ever seen.
So what would you do, Jared? Actually, would you even cosplay at all?
I mean, I'd maybe do it, but I'm not too big into like cosplay like that.
I mean, I'm not either. I'm just saying, I just want to do it like one time.
Yeah, I'd be down to do it. I feel like Comic-Con maybe is more of like a cosplay thing because I've wanted to be anything. I don't know if there's any Blizzard characters.
I'd be a dick and I'd just do Tyrael with ridiculous wings.
Oh, dude. Oh my.
You wouldn't be a dick. That'd just be everyone at BlizzCon. There's the Reinhardt guy who walks on stilts, and it's like a 10-foot, 12-foot Reinhardt, right?
Bro.
I saw that guy. Literally, I have a video on my phone of him right next to me because I was like, "Holy, this dude is huge."
I got smacked by somebody in a fucking pair of wings today. I was standing behind everybody that just. This is one thing. This is my pet peeve. I'm gonna say this one piece and be done. If you stand in the middle of a fucking walkway, in an already tight walkway where people are trying to just get by, and you just stop right in the middle of the floor, you should be hit by a car when you leave.
Damn.
Honestly, it's kind of fair.
Infuriating when you have a group of 6 people that are in a corridor this fucking big and they take up the entire corridor and everyone's just standing there like, you should fucking move.
And then you have like all these social awkward rejects, like social rejects that are like confused with what to do or say because like blockade.
Like, they're standing in front of me and not moving, and I can't move. I don't know what to do.
What I'll say though is the best part about Level Up that I was impressed by was I only ran into one stinky person. No, legitimately, one stinky person.
Yo, that's crazy. I called it.
Bro.
So I legitimately
I was expecting it to smell like an Apple store at an iPhone release, but it didn't. It smelled normal.
It smelled like completely normal. There was one stinky guy.
That's a huge plus.
I was
that's
like,
the
hey,
best plus you can get.
Good job, gamers. We're finally wearing deodorant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the weeboos are finally putting deodorant on. So I was really impressed by that. But that actually brings me up to the next thing.
Wait till summer.
Not stinky people, but stinky behavior, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
So
in
the Final Fantasy 14 world, like I kind of mentioned before, there was some of that Race the World FirstDrama. I think Quakers, you had some things to talk about with what happened here. Stinky behavior.
Do you know about it at all, Jared?
No, I just know what you guys told me.
So for everyone that doesn't know about Final Fantasy 14, so Final Fantasy 14 and World of Warcraft, they reflect a lot about each other. Even Yoshi P himself, which is the lead developer in Final Fantasy 14, says that Final Fantasy 14 is pretty close to a copy of World of Warcraft purposely because he loved the game and gave their own twist to it. Now, where this separates very heavily is with add-ons. So add-ons, as everyone knows in World of Warcraft, are accepted. They're there. Everyone's cool with it. Everyone has their own.
Accepted? No, they're wanted. There's a whole
but that's what I'm saying. So they're encouraged and all that.
By the developers.
However, Final Fantasy 14, well, I wouldn't say they're encouraged by the developers. The developers just don't combat it. Because the developers even say like it makes it harder on them like to make encounters and shit, right? Yeah. But Final Fantasy 14 has a strict policy of not allowing any third-party programs whatsoever. Now, this doesn't stop people from doing these things because there's people that they get different mods, cosmetic mods, and things of that nature that you usually see in games. But even those, damage meters, a lot of these things still aren't allowed. So in the Final Fantasy 14 community, it's a don't ask, don't tell, agreement within the community itself. So in the Race the World first, they're also different in World of Warcraft. It's a very
I want to pause here
thing.
for a moment. Nick just got home. You want to see if we'll just throw him in mid-episode?
Fuck it, let's do it. Is he upstairs or?
Yo, Nick. You want to hop on the pod?
Especially since we just opened this topic.
Yeah.
And then you can just.
Nick said no because he's a bitch, quote unquote.
Okay.
You guys are already mid-podcast.
No. This is a completely new topic.
We're starting a new topic right now. That's why I said it. We're 20 minutes in, so we have like 45 minutes left. But if you have work in the morning, I get it.
Yeah,
I have work in the morning.
You're good, bro. Do your thing.
Bro, I wake up at 5.
Anyway,
man.
So
all right.
So it's completely. So there's no third-party programs of any kind.
Completely, shut down by the developers, and it's enforced. But you still see streamers on Twitch and stuff like that with these, on. But I mean, that's a different story in and of itself. Now, when it comes to Race the World First, World of Warcraft is very mainstream. When it's on Twitch, it's one of the most viewed things on Twitch.
Yeah.
When the Race the World First
Race
is happening.
Race World First for Final Fantasy, or in general for Final Fantasy?
Or World of Warcraft.
What the fuck game did you just say? What
World of Warcraft.
World
of Warcraft Race to World First is happening. It's one of the biggest.
Say it 3 times fast, though. World of Warcraft, Race to World First.
World of Warcraft.
I love World of Warcraft.
I'm just talking like your typical WoW player, okay?
I love World of Warcraft with the Race to World First. I play Windwalker Monk. I play Windwalker Monk.
We wake one. We kill Wazdagat first.
The neck
but in the Japanese world, it's a mixture of being streamed, and you also don't have to be on stream.
Yeah.
So the issue that arose was this team claimed world first, and ended up they didn't post this clip themselves. This clip slipped out of their like ending of the run, and you could see all Final Fantasy 14 battles happen on like a platform, right? You played it; it's all instanced, and usually the boss fights happen on a platform with a set field. And this person's camera was zoomed out to see the entire platform, like there were ants on a platform,
like far,
like bird's eye view.
You could see everything, the entirety of the platform.
Now, that's what caused this huge thing. And people are a lot. There's people out there that are like, "Oh, it's just a zoomed out camera. It doesn't really mean much."
I was gonna say, so how does this benefit them?
I mean, you've
done every mechanic.
I would say you've literally played WoW, right? Like
yeah.
You can read the entire room.
Like the fight with like Dathia, right? I kind of related to that because it's on a circular platform. If you could sit there and zoom out and see every tornado's position from the top as it moved across.
I feel like I do that already, so I don't
position better.
But I guess I would need to see it as well, just to see like contextually how impactful it was. Because
I also don't fully understand all the mechanics of the fight.
Sure,
so there may be something else there. So I mean, from our point of view, it's just like, but basically you can see his whole team, because usually when you zoom in on a camera in Final Fantasy, you're seeing a fourth of the arena essentially, right?
Gotcha.
So this guy's getting the 100% instead of 25% is essentially what it comes down to.
I got you. That makes sense.
But this is a big thing within the Japanese Race the World First community, especially for Final Fantasy 14, because the developers have basically shunned them. Like Yoshi P himself came out and said, like, talked about his disappointment and talked about how their philosophy when they're developing a fight is him and their developers don't push a fight out to the community until they can do it themselves without the use of anything. Just raw gameplay, because the way their Savage fights are done is very different from WoW as well, where you have a set gear score, the boss is done a set way, but it's the hardest content in the game.
Right.
Not everybody can do it. It's a true prestige challenge.
Choreographed dance.
Yeah, it's literally just trial and error, just like anything else. Whereas in WoW, as you guys know, it's trial and error, but Blizzard makes buffs, they make nerfs during the raid. While Race the World First is happening, patches get pushed out, which is a whole different type of drama that happens.
Nerfing Razzie 75%.
And the reason it's a big deal is also because in the Japanese community, developers are held at a high regard, and the shame on your family type deal that people make jokes about within the Asian culture. That is actually a very real reality when it comes to this, because
that's Japanese culture in general.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, for anyone who doesn't know, that's a reality.
Take a lot of pride in their work.
These people, like, after they were shunned by the developers, have basically gone offline and deleted their characters off Final Fantasy as a response to this, and will not play Final Fantasy anymore.
This is the cancel culture I can get behind. You know what I mean? Like, this is the cancel culture that I want. Like hacker in an FPS game? Nah. Dishonor on your family. Love it. I'm a fan. You know what? That's a win. That's a win in my book. That has
Yoshi even said, it's like, if I'm making a fight and you're using a third-party program, then I lose all want to make any reason to make a hard fight, because you're not even playing the fight for the game itself. You're playing a completely different game from everybody else.
I think the only thing that was third party that you were able to use in Final Fantasy was like a parsing thing, which wasn't even.
That's not allowed either. People use it.
I meant like a damage meter. I've seen it before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You see people use it. You'll see it on some UIs, but that is not allowed either.
Gotcha.
And that one specifically is because people are toxic and stuff like that. But there are a lot of benefits to damage meters. Like we use it in WoW. We talk our shit. Everyone likes to stroke themselves and fuck around with friends and all that. But at the end of the day, you can see a lot of what's happening in the fight that you can't see from your point of view, such as the interrupts in the Dathia fight that we've talked about.
Yeah, I mean, it also tells you if you're having a good pull or a bad pull, or
right. I think it lets you min-max your character a little better, things like that. Yeah, that's why I'm a fan of DPS meters, because of the positive impact and what the initial reason was for. Right, there's a reason to see where your areas of opportunity are. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I also understand how they're toxic. Any scoreboard is going to be toxic, right? Even if you look at like a football game, you're like,
right. Why people talk about scores all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Eagles with their fib this past week. You know what I mean? Like,
so it's just, but yeah, that's a huge drama in the scene, because, like I said, this has completely gutted the Japanese race to world first scene.
Interesting. So those people are just done, like the whole guild, and
so the guild got their titles removed, the cosmetic gear. So you do get a reward from doing this. You get cosmetic gear that nobody else can get. Like I said, it's a purely prestige thing.
Yeah.
They got those stripped from them. The
titles, achievements.
The title and the achievements. And also the reason it's a big thing is the guy's YouTube channel that was posted to came forward, admitted to doing all these things, and said the reason they did it, trying to justify himself, was because of the influx of Western players. And figured that since Western players are probably using add-ons, we are going to use them too.
So basically, we think he might be cheating, so we cheated.
So we cheated because we thought you guys were.
I wanted to beat you to cheating first, okay?
Yeah. And these guys have been part of the race to world first races before. Like they've gotten to first place before, like an hour ahead of the second team. And this one, they were 2 days ahead of the team that actually got race to world first.
Oh damn!
And also later on came out that they actually cheated in the other race too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not shocked that was like a revelation, right?
I
think that was once the conversation started, it was all on our bingo cards for sure. So
calls into question every other time.
So it's just like the Japanese scene, like I said, just got extremely gutted by this, and it was a huge drama within the community and just the back and forth with developers and players.
I love the juxtaposition between like Western and Eastern philosophy,
and that's what I wanted to talk about too.
Not even just from the social like push of it. It's more like the social problems that they have, so to speak. Like they're worried about people just like hacking one time, and it's like a huge controversy. And you have people who like big streamers who have been caught hacking. You know what I mean? Like in the Western side, where it's like in FPSs, you have people who've been caught hacking. I mean, honestly, I wholeheartedly believe that one streamer, Nadia, I wholeheartedly believe Nadia's a cheater. But I mean, I don't care.
She's honestly embraced it and played it off well. Like
whether
she is or not, she completely took the right approach to push forward her career.
Yeah, she took the whole NWA like no publicity is bad publicity approach for sure.
Yeah.
And just like, I'm such a cheater, like put it in people's face, but also made like jokes and memes about it at the same time, which is like exactly how you approach it. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, smart marketing, but it's just interesting because I feel like on the Western side of things, like cheating is, I feel like it's a kind of commonplace. Like, you hear people like, well, it's more fun because I'm able to kill people. Like, you're like,
did you ever think about practicing?
I feel like it's a cultural thing too, though, because I mean, we were already talking about it, but it's a cultural thing because in Japan, like gaming is held in a high regard. Like these are actual celebrities, and it's just now kind of getting there in the Western, but not huge mainstream, because there's still a stigma when it comes to video games, and not so much in Japan.
Maybe I'm talking out of my ass here, but I think it's a whole cultural divide as a whole. Because if you think of things in sports, right? when people are cheating in sports, it's never. I don't think it's really a bad thing. Like, look at the Houston Astros. That's completely accepted. The Houston
Yeah,
Astros
honestly, I
won
don't
a
know. I
whole.
don't know sports stuff, so you will have to tell me.
I mean, the Houston Astros won a whole World Series while using cameras to detect other teams' signs and know the pitches. So I mean, and they won a World Series off of it. And the only thing that happened was they fired 2 guys and they fined them with $1 million. You know what they got to keep? Their World Series title. You know what they got to keep? Everything else that came with it. There was no recompense for anyone else. Whereas like, I feel like cheating is just more commonplace and more accepted. Like, if someone's cheating in the Western society, so to speak, I feel like everything's a meme. So it's like funny, like, haha, oh, you're cheating, like, oh, you're such a nerd, blah
Yeah,
blah blah.
there's no enforcement on it at all. When
Everything
it comes to
like
Japanese culture, they're like,
I feel like Western society as a whole is
Persona.
maybe like too lax in terms of everything has to be a joke, everything has to be funny, nothing can be taken seriously. Like,
what's
you know, for me,
what?
I love the integrity of a game. I
Yeah.
feel like there's just more game integrity from other cultures, and maybe that's just me like not being privy to. I mean, I'm
Well,
not going to talk about India scam call centers, right? But at the end of the day, I feel like a lot more, countries and stuff just have
well,
a
I
higher
mean,
standard of
if
integrity.
if
in that
if you look
regard.
at like Korea with how they make you register for certain games with like your phone number, your social, like they're like, yeah, if you cheat, we're gonna literally delete your social credit history, and like you're gonna go to jail and never be able to play games again. Like,
Oh,
all
Right.
yeah.
right,
Welcome to freedom, boys.
yeah,
Like, don't get me
like
wrong, it's a different philosophy, and like the freedom talk is always different. Like, the right to privacy and like how protective people are of their information, even though they use things like Facebook and TikTok, whatever.
yeah, and the GPS global tracker in their
and
pocket.
and the whole like Patriot Act, all that type of stuff. But nonetheless, super protective of our freedoms. But I just feel like I said, just the integrity overall of society and how they view things, I just feel like is completely different. Like
Yeah,
if these people like got caught cheating, let's say the best guild on our server on Soul Jin got caught cheating for like a world first run. Like, people would be like, wow, cheater, L guild, L tank,
Yeah.
L run, like,
well,
and that's it.
Like,
And
it
then
wouldn't be like personal attacks or like personal dishonor on yourself.
I mean, there would be, but I feel like the discourse of it isn't as
it would
impactful,
just
right?
it'd be like,
Well, I'm saying like the person receiving will be able to brush it off. Where it's like in Japan, they're like, "Yo, my family's gonna hate me." Well,
well,
like
it's
Right.
I'm not gonna be able to eat tonight.
Well, it's like, I'm not
it
saying that has to be the notion, but at the end of the day, it's like there's not accountability there. For us, if someone gets
yeah,
caught hacking, there's back to streaming the next day. I mean, shit, people get involved in
yeah.
sexual scandals of like sexually assaulting people, and half the time they're just back to streaming. They'll be like, I need to take a break. I've been focusing really hard on myself and I made mistakes. And then they're just back to streaming like
Moment of
nothing
weakness.
happened, and there's no real impact
Well,
that like
it's like what you talked about, because I think we talked about it before with the Nadia doxing. Like, she doxed one of her viewers, and people still like go in, chat with her, donate to her still, like all this stuff, and this chick just openly doxed someone on
dude, you
purpose.
have people like Jake Paul who have scammed people out of millions of dollars, and people still support his projects and him as a content creator in person. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You have people of any level of like
I mean,
cheating, quote
they put
unquote.
they put an apology video out. They're good. They're
That,
good.
yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm
A
all for
PR stunt
everyone. I'm all for
on
everyone
the side.
deserves a second chance, but people don't forget. But I feel like Western society as a whole,
People don't forget.
I feel like we forget more now, and it's not, maybe not forget, but we just don't. It doesn't have weight. You know what I mean?
There's no punishment.
Right. I feel
Yeah,
like someone like Atrioc as an example, right?
I
Like we talked
mean,
about what 2 weeks ago or so,
mm-hmm.
right? Like at the end of the day, he's gonna come back to streaming, and it's going to be like nothing ever happened in terms of the actual impact to his stream. He's still going to be growing. He's still going to make the same YouTube videos. He's still going to have all the same things. The difference is people are going to think he's a little bit of a weirdo for looking at pictures of his best
and
friend's
some people are gonna like
girlfriend.
him because he's a little
You
bit of
know?
a weirdo.
Yeah, they'd be like, I
Oh,
did it too.
come here, big boy.
I love that AI shit.
But yeah, I mean that's like what we're talking about with the whole culture of it. Like,
Yeah,
Well,
it's
dude,
definitely just different.
like just in general. I mean, if you just look across society right now, there's a a lot of freedom and not a lot of punishment. Like with anything, you see. I don't know if you've caught any of the clips of shit on Twitter. I know this is a little side a little off topic, but like any of the clips on Twitter, like kids being like talking to their teachers and shit, and being like, "I'll fuck you up," and then like start beating on the fucking teacher. The teacher runs out of the classroom. Like, I would be in a grave if I ever attempted to even say a word like that to a teacher. I would have been buried in the desert. But like kids are just like throwing shit at teachers and stuff. Like,
I think
I don't know.
that
It's a weird generational cultural shift that's strange, dude. Like, I see this shit, I'm like, God damn, like,
yeah,
oh my
without trying to
God.
sound like an old head, it's definitely like the
Right.
lack of respect and empathy. The reason why I
Yeah.
say the lack of respect and empathy is respect is very obvious to me, right? Like it's very clear to me that people don't respect other people.
I
But I
think you
think
used the
that
words like
in
perfectly there.
order to find respect for somebody, I feel like you have to be empathetic to them as a person. So like when I'm late or I do XY things, this is how it affects them. And for me to be able to understand and for it to have weight to me, I have to be empathetic to someone else's situation. And by lacking the empathy, you can't respect someone, is almost how I see it.
Well, it's like they have
so
no
that's the
respect
issue.
for the other person as a human being, like at all. It's
Right.
like it's just about me, and that's it.
I think we definitely have
how
like
I'm feeling.
And
a
then
self-centered society.
and then it gets
you know?
reinforced because the parent comes into the conference after, you know, the kid gets in a fight with the teacher and is like, "It's your fucking fault for fucking messing with my son in class and disrespecting him, and that made him act that way." And you're like,
let's all do one thing for a moment. Let's all do one thing for a moment. I want us to timestamp this. Let us all take a look. All right. It is Friday, February 17th at 11:47 p.m. And Sean has just stated this. And in about 2 years' time, Sean will have a parent-teacher conference for the first time for Athena. Okay, for his daughter. And I just want to make sure if Sean says any sideways shit, we're just gonna play this back. You know, I hope it doesn't happen, right? But it's an important time in history. We want to make sure we timestamp it.
Yeah.
So.
All right, I do want to take a step back away from the politics that we're talking about, though, and go back to go back to the whole, the two different kind of developers talking about Blizzard and Square.
Yep.
Because I think it's interesting that these like. I want to talk about because I'm on the side of Final Fantasy. Everything I talk about with Final Fantasy makes me like it more. But the whole philosophy with the Race to World First, where it's like Blizzard's making changes during the World First, right? A lot of the drama with the World of Warcraft Race to World First is like the most recent was the patch that came out while Complexity was Liquid was sleeping. So another team ended up
the
Wait,
nerf hit after Liquid had been up all night trying to kill Razagath and was getting close. They got it down to like 7% or something.
And they were like, dude, let's take a break. We'll come back to it.
Yeah, they go to their sleep cycle, right? And literally the nerf hits like an hour or two after they went to bed. And within that like 2-hour time
within an hour, I think, of the patch hitting.
The patch hit, they got the kill. So
who got the kill from
another team got the kill.
It was
Echo.
It was whoever the former
Echo
dudes from
former Method. Echo.
Yeah, former Method.
Isn't it Echo?
It was, I think it's Echo.
I think so. I can't keep up with the names, to be honest.
Yeah,
but it's just like things like that. And then on the Square side, it's like I just heard them because I didn't know this before. Is like they tested on their side as developers and as the the lead developer until they can beat it within this environment of a locked gear score. The boss is just this way, and you just have it's just a challenge. There's no worrying about what your gear score is for it, and what what nerf or buff is the boss going to get mid fight as we're fighting it.
Right.
I mean, it goes without saying that Blizzard's such a large entity now, and this has always been the problem with them, that Blizzard listens. Blizzard hears you, but they don't listen to you. You know what I mean? Like, it's very clear that they get all the feedback, but it's also very clear they don't care. And I think that they have the attitude of like they're too big to fail, and that it's with all large companies who own a market, right? You look at someone like Netflix; they're doing the same things, right? They're all do these things where it's like the board members are more important. We know better than you. We don't care what the player base says because at the end of the day, we know you'll play. Say what?
Don't you have phones?
What are you getting at?
Diablo Immortal.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Or the WoW Classic. You think that's what you want, but it's not.
Oh yeah. You think you want that, and it's just Blizzard. I feel like has that attitude as a whole. Even though they're making a lot of strides forward, I think that some of that still remains. Right at the end of the day, their philosophy is that they know better. Like, I mean, you've seen it with Riot Games as well. We have over 120 years of gaming experience between our development team. I think we know what we're doing. Like, bro, shut up. Like, you don't play at the end of the day. It's like the populace and the people complaining about your game the most generally are the people who are playing your game the most. They would know the irritations more than everyone. They would actually have great insight. Like streamers do have great
based
insight
on the numbers,
right? Oh yeah,
the internal survey points to you being wrong.
It's just like, bro, no, I promise you that Yumi's annoyingly OP. You know, so I just think that's kind of where we're at with Blizzard versus Square, right? Square Enix, I almost feel like because they're not WoW, literally just because they're not WoW, like that's the only reason they can't have that approach. But I think it's also better for them not to, right? At the end of the day, like having that approach towards the development, I love hearing that, and I love that that's where they come from. I just wish I enjoyed the gameplay better.
Well, the thing that sucked with the Razageth kill, right, was like Liquid was so fucking close on that patch before the severe nerf, right? It was like tied. Echo and them were both at like 6%. They were getting Razageth too. And it was exciting. I was watching it. I was like, yo, like this kill is gonna happen like soon, probably, right? And Liquid went to bed like defeated, bro. It was like poll 370 or something like that, 372 that they were on for the Razageth fight. And I was like, oh my, I could not imagine pulling that bitch 300 fucking times. But yeah, they were like this close. And then the nerf comes in that morning, the following morning, because they wanted it dead by Christmas, right? That was kind of the whole thing. It was like this nerf hit, and it was huge.
Well, was it dead by Christmas for WoW or for Complexity?
For WoW, everybody was saying that Razageth was being predicted to be dead by Christmas, and it was the day before. The day before Christmas, they downed Razageth. And it was just kind of like, it just made it so cheesy. It like took the achievement away from it. Cause like they were already so close. So
was this a hot fix?
It was literally a hot fix because
this is how it happens in World First. Like that wasn't even the first change in the raid.
Bro,
like there's hundreds there's like hundreds of changes that happened during the race to World First.
And the next poll they killed it.
That's wild. Like I don't understand there was stuff like that, especially when you have something on the line, something with competitive in the competitive environment. You have to schedule that.
The thing was that Liquid is in Europe, and
I was about to bring up
States.
And what else this brings up too is the start times for everyone is also different.
Yeah,
like the Americans get to play before Europeans, or is it the other way around?
It was Europe this time. Europe were the first.
So Europe gets to play first, and then America starts.
Oh, so wait, Complexity was the European team, Echo was the US team, and Echo took it?
No. Complexity is the American team.
Liquid was Europe.
Okay.
Oh, Liquid was Europe?
Yeah, Liquid was Europe.
Okay, regardless, it sounds like the US just beat Europe again. So, I mean, this is just a tale as old as time. I don't...
I don't know why we're shocked.
It's
just weird seeing competition, but you have different start times. You have different times that
it's essentially like imagine you're running the 100-meter dash, right?
and you get past 100, and then oh no, it's the 120. What are you doing?
No. You run your heat, right? You hit a sick ass time, best heat of the meet, and then they're like, all right, y'all, we're gonna make a hot fix. We're gonna make it decline, and we're gonna put a fan on your back, and it's only the last heat.
No, dude, you're on the 50, and you do a run play, right? Or you do a pass play, and your QB gets sacked before the end of the play. the what's it called? The TD got pushed up to the 50-yard line right behind you. You get tackled for a safety mid play, and you're like, we're on the 50 line. Oh no, we nerfed that long ago.
Honestly, bro, Roger called this. It's a hot fix, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, bro, it's the 100-meter dash, and as like you're approaching the finish line, they're like, actually, it's here. The finish line is right here.
No, it's like imagine there hasn't been a PI penalty all game, and then in the fourth quarter with less than 2 minutes left, there's a soft ass defensive holding call, and then you lose the Super Bowl.
Damn.
Sean's like,
Sean can't even laugh about it.
Sean's defeated, bro.
I'm still mad.
He's still mad. Oh my god.
This also goes back into the whole the add-on talk that we were talking about. It's like Blizzard put themselves in this position because they can't combat the add-ons like from their development point in a fight, so they had to make these changes mid-fight because there's no other way for them to do it.
Well, they just overtune shit now.
Especially since
don't matter.
Yeah, and it's a completely different setting from Final Fantasy because Final Fantasy has no gear, requirement for it or anything like that. It's just doing this challenge and getting a reward. Where in WoW, it's doing this challenge, but you're doing it for the gear. You need to have a certain item level, and all those other mixtures
item level.
Exactly.
And it's like the RNG of it, right? Where everyone has a different item level. Everyone has all these different things. There's trinkets that are way better than other trinkets.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I think.
And also, WoW doesn't test their fight to see if they can beat it.
That's what's so weird to me.
Don't get tested. Yeah.
That's what's so weird. Like no one tests the. How do you know?
No, the race to world first is just a live test. That's all it is.
The thing that I don't get is like the race to world first thing is like I would always expect that like you're having to develop the strategies for the fights, right? Like you're experiencing it kind of like how we did it with this raid tier, right? Like nobody looked at shit. The only thing that had anybody seen anything was the race to world first.
Just gonna fucking
but
make
like,
the face.
But like what I mean is like nobody was like looking this shit up the first time we were running the raid. The only people that had seen anything was the race to world first, which was just me and Jason, right?
Dude, I was just thinking the Metal Gear Solid alert sound when Jared made that face.
But what I'm saying is like for the race to world first, I would think that it would come down to like raid leadership and like actually experiencing the fights firsthand. Instead of these are the same people that were testing this shit for like 6 months, these fights. So it's like you know what I mean? And then the only fight that's not tested is the final one.
I think at the end of the day,
surprise.
I think at the end of the day, it's just a very flawed and ludicrous design philosophy from a developer. That is ludicrous.
Yeah.
To decide that one fight, which we want to hype up the most, is not, and it's there just so they can say, look how long it took them to beat this boss. Look how hard it is. It's not hard. It's stupid. You never tested anything. Like you didn't do any work.
Keeps on the platform. There's none of it now. Figure it the fuck out.
You ever
I
seen?
mean,
it's crazy.
Go ahead.
So you ever seen like time trials in games? Like imagine you're playing like Spider-Man. They're like, hey, you got to get from this building to this building in this time. You got to hit these markers, and they never tested it. They just like, oh, you can't get it in 10 seconds. It's like, well, you developed it impossibly for me to do, so you had to change it mid runs for me to be successful. Like it's the same thing. It's just. Well, like what a ludicrous design philosophy. I don't have much more to say besides that.
No, I was gonna say it's gonna be interesting to see how just this develops. Just race the world first with all MMOs in general, with more MMOs coming out every year because just like what
Riot's watching this.
Well, that's what I'm gonna say. It's like just like other esports games with FPSs and all that, how they became a lot of things become staple in them, and even like indie developers are releasing things that now are getting more attention from the competitive standpoint for viewers and all that. Same thing's going to happen with MMOs. Race to World First is going to be a common thing. It's just going to be interesting to see the strategies and like development philosophies that just unfold from that.
Yeah.
And where it goes.
I'm interested to see how this type of thing develops. I'm ready. Like we've talked about before, I think I'm ready just for something new, something fresh in the MMO genre. We haven't seen a lot of innovation, and I think we're all ready for that. We're all ready to get away from Blizzard, and even honestly, at the end of the day, like Square Enix is not doing anything innovative, in my opinion. There's nothing about their game that's game breaking, or I mean, hey, I think the game's phenomenal. It's not the pacing of it's poor for me. But there is one more thing that is really big that maybe I didn't mention in the intro that happened this week. That's probably some of the biggest news for gamers, content creation, all that as a whole, which is the CEO of YouTube stepping down after 9 years at the helm.
And Mr. Beast asking to step up.
I mean, he's asked that about Twitter as well. That's just his thing at this point because he has so much clout. But the reason it's a big deal is because she has been under a lot of scrutiny for a long time. Same thing as Blizzard, same thing as Netflix. For a long time, it's said that they obviously hear us, but they're not listening. She's big on that. She did at least talk to creators. She had some good relationships. I mean, she was on Ludwig's podcast at one point where he interviewed her one-on-one, like things like that. So she was in the community. She was in the trenches a little bit. And that does leave a vacancy and uncertainty already, right? With YouTube, the person stepping up is someone who has had more scrutiny than she has. There's somebody who thought that YouTube should have SFTs. So I'm curious what you guys think about all that. Did you guys read up on that at all or anything? Or?
SFTs? The fuck is that? What is an SFT?
Did I just say the acronym wrong? I forgot what the fuck it's called.
Or NFTs.
Are you saying NFTs?
Oh, NFT. Holy shit.
I was waiting for you to respond too.
I was
like,
what the fuck is
oh, well,
an
no.
SFT?
I was like thinking, I was like, wait, what the fuck's the acronym? Because you said, what is it? I was like, is the acronym wrong?
It's NFTs, yeah.
Like,
NFT, sorry. Non-fungible token.
Suitable for tools?
Suitable fungible token. No, but there's somebody
Super
who
fun tokens?
Super fun. It's what you get at Chuck E. Cheese. Which is essentially what NFTs are anyway.
I was saying NFTs can be whatever you want them to be. So,
but at the end of the day, he was someone who pushed for NFTs on YouTube and someone who wanted YouTube to get in like the crypto and all that type of stuff. So there's a lot of people who are very
crypto, so.
I mean, there's a lot of people who are very nervous about what that looks like moving forward. I mean,
I didn't know about any of this, and just you mentioning that, that has me concerned too.
How the fuck would you have NFTs on YouTube?
He wanted them integrated. And the other thing too is that I saw like a snippet from Charlie's video about it, from Penguins or Moist Critical, whatever you want to call him. But
yeah,
he had a snippet where he took a screenshot of his Twitter, and he was like, part of the problem is this guy does not want any part of YouTube. He doesn't even have YouTube in his bio on Twitter. Like, there's nothing about him being involved in the space. He's never been involved. So it's one of those things of this is just like awesome. A corporate figurehead to take the helm, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's a very interesting time because for a long time, YouTube's always been seen as a stable platform, right? It's like Old Faithful. At the end of the day, it has its issues.
It's like the top dog still, right?
Yeah, it has its issues. It has things going on, but at the end of the day, you can post videos, you can make money, and there's a lot of opportunity. Like that hasn't changed.
Literally, streamers have gone back to YouTube at this point.
Right. And it's funny. I'm curious to see like how these streamers who signed to YouTube feel. Like people like Valkyrie, Fusely, Ludwig, all those. I don't know who else, but all those other people. Like
Disrespect.
Doctor. I mean, he has no choice.
Yo, does this guy just plan on like completely destroying the YouTube platform since he doesn't put it on his Twitter page?
I don't know. It's just like, strange because
his whole plan was like, I'm gonna take this over and I'm the one that's gonna bring down YouTube.
Yeah, it's just like it's a very weird arc in the YouTube. Like YouTube's had their big scandals or their big moments like the adpocalypse, things like that. I hope that this isn't just another one of those where it's like
or this guy is just a hype grabber. Like, you know, cryptos are hype, you know, jump on that. NFTs are hype, jump on that train.
Well, dude, the crypto market crashing was like the happiest day of my life because all the fucking crypto bros on Twitter were just crying, like dudes were killing themselves and shit.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I still don't understand crypto. As in, I understand what people are getting at, right? I understand how it has quote unquote value.
Yeah.
But I do not understand how people possibly think it has value. You know what I'm saying? I know how people are establishing it as a value. I don't know how people look at it from the outside looking in. Like, imagine I was like, hey, Sean, I have 100 pieces of lint. Now, you could buy one of these pieces of lint, and it may go up. You know, it's going to the moon.
That's why it just came off to me as like
100 pieces.
You know how people want to invent their own slang all the time?
Yeah.
It's like crypto to me was just somebody wanting to invent their own currency.
I mean, it's literally what it is.
People that's what I'm getting at. It's like they just wanted to create a different currency because
they're like, we're not based off the gold standard anymore.
All right, so hold on.
Yeah.
Before anyone in the comments does this, I have to do it for them. Isn't all currency just made up?
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on. So I don't know. I mean, but that's what I'm getting at. It's like it's something that caught wind because people that had the same thought process got behind it and pushed it forward.
I just want to say that was actually an @ I should have subtweeted properly @Kuya. But anyway,
right. Kuya is definitely going to jump on that.
He definitely would say that. He 100% would say that. I would put money on it. But at the end of the day, I think it's just I think that crypto is just a hype thing. It's meant to be like the decentralized currency,
Yeah, I
and
was gonna say
like that's the
decentralized
whole thing.
currency
Like,
is the whole
so there's
push.
no one controlling it. There's no one entity controlling it. It's an open market. It's established by the people, but there's just nothing in any way, shape, or form that makes it or makes me believe that I would ever get behind it.
Crypto is the whole reinventing the wheel. You know, it's not broken, but we're trying to fix it thing.
Well,
for
it's
me.
it's reinventing the wheel and just putting your own twist on it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's and then
So
NFTs
essentially, crypto is just
like,
Final
go fuck
Fantasy
yourself.
14.
Yeah. Exactly.
We always go full
And-
circle. We always go
and
full
dude,
circle.
And dude, fucking NFTs, like it's just like a lie sold to you for like, hey, take this
I 100%
image,
agree.
this JPEG.
It's
and
essentially
fucking...
3-card Monty of currency. Like, that's how I see it.
The thing that I thought was funny was, you remember when the fucking Bored Ape Yacht Club controversy was going on, right?
Mhm.
And they started the like cancel Bored Ape Yacht Club thing, where they were stealing people's
Bored Apes?
NFTs and posting them. And they were like, you can't do that. It was like, who the fuck's gonna enforce it?
I actually, the way I actually think that NFTs are like interesting is actually for content creation. I do think that that's an interesting way to monetize something while also giving back value. Like,
Yeah.
for a big creator to have their own NFT where it's only within their community, I actually could see that being a thing.
So the
I can
one
see
way
it.
that I saw something that would
Isn't
be
that
cool-
basically what Twitch like emotes are?
I
This-
mean, not necessarily, but no, because one, they'd be unique with their own unique ID with ownership of it, right? Like, at the end of the day, you don't necessarily own the artwork, but you own the certificate, right? That says you own
Right.
something. So imagine if I gave out, hey, I have 100 exclusive Twitch NFTs or emotes, right? And you could buy one of these, and it's like a bidding process, and your community, it's only people within the community, then it would have its own value because people then that community would want it. I understand that, but when you start scaling it upward, I think it starts working less and less is all it really comes down to.
Yeah. So the one NFT thing that I thought was interesting was what is it? Dr. Disrespect's shooter that's coming
His
out.
game.
Yeah.
The,
So
Champions
Midnight
Arena or whatever.
Society.
Is that what it's
Did
called?
they explain more of like how it works?
So
like NFTs work within that?
Well, one of the things was like one of the pre-purchaser packs. I haven't really done a whole lot of research on the game just in general, but when I was reading the founders packs thing, when you could apply to become a founder,
Sean always reading the founders packs. We can
Always,
make
dude,
sure
I
of
gotta
that.
look
Sean's
at what I'm
like,
getting.
how can I look to spend more money?
This
Okay.
is what was the cool thing was like, so the NFTs that are in the game, right, are actual physical game items, right? So that to me is already kind of enticing. It's kind of cool, right? But in the founders packs, if you bought a certain edition or you paid a certain amount, you got a custom like operator skin that you got to design with the developers, right, for your character. That was also tradable. So at some point in time, they were only going to mint 100 of these because there was only 100 founders packs or whatever, right? But you would have your own custom design skin. It'd be a one of one, and you could either keep it and use it, or you could monetize it and sell it, right? And I think that that system is kind of cool, but also bullshit at the same time. Like, it doesn't really hold any value. If the game tanks and goes down, all that's lost anyways.
But
right?
that's where the whole value proposition comes in, is if you believe in the project and you believe in what they're doing, the
Right.
game won't tank, right? Like, that's kind of where
Right.
that comes from. So, but I agree with you.
I did think it was cool though that like the gun skin that you would get, your operator skin, all that shit was all stuff that you owned and only you had for having those founders packs. So I thought that was interesting. But like being able to actually trade items like that, like I created a skin and you created a skin and you created a skin, we could literally like swap and trade those around and be like, dude, I'm rocking Jared's skin. You know what I mean? Like it's a one of one.
I think
like,
that
that
that's
type of shit's
cool. It
kinda
just
cool.
I think it's interesting.
I
I
just feel like
down
it doesn't
a
have
bad
to be an
path.
NFT to do that.
But that's essentially
right.
what
No,
NFTs
I
are,
agree.
though, right? Like, at the end of the day, if it's built into the game, it's built into. But that's essentially what NFTs are, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's my whole thing. Was like it's just like we're putting this title on it to like.
I feel like you would just make more money for everyone as a whole by just selling it as a skin itself and branding it behind somebody who has some sort of clout. You know, that's just
like almost like how Fortnite does it with like creator codes, and,
right?
like when they
like
create
Ninja,
skins for creators and shit like that.
The
Tim the
Ninja skin.
Tapman skin in DKO, man.
Yeah,
No, for
like
real.
just different
Like,
things like
it's
For
that. It's
real.
like this seems like a very convoluted, I don't know,
System.
workaround with that.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of valuing something very highly.
Right. For no
And,
reason
and
other
then
than
and
that.
then unfortunately, idiots are going to do that.
Yeah.
Like
Like I said, it was
Yeah.
just interesting. I was like, that's kind of cool. But
So
I'm not for NFTs in video games.
yeah,
It's
I
not-
think we're
not
all
my
on
thing.
the non-NFT train. I think we all align with a lot of things, but we'll have like little nuances we don't agree with or different places we come from. But there, with the whole like you know YouTube crashing and NFTs, maybe potentially, maybe not being a thing. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Better not be.
There is one other site in the streaming atmosphere that is seeing some big changes, and
actually,
YouTube's
I don't really know much about this site at all.
yeah, so YouTube's actually been coming up under fire lately from people like, well, Aiden Ross has been making a big hoopla. Like, how come people like Kai Cenat and Rage and some other ones? Why don't we have big Twitch deals or big Twitch deals or YouTube deals? Why won't they sign us? And it's like, well, kind of going back to the other conversation, they're not banning you, but you're a brand risk, so they don't want to put their stamp on you, right? You can still exist in the platform, you still get money. And because of all this and kind of because of the uproar and not feeling the support, Aiden Ross actually is making the move over to Kick.com, and it's rumored that, you know, some other people are moving with him, which Kick.com, for those of you who don't know, we kind of talked about a little bit, is the streaming platform that's being kind of pushed along by Trainwrecks TV, where it's honestly
Oh,
like,
that
it's
one.
like,
Okay,
it's
never
like
mind.
Mad Max, but streaming.
Yeah. It's like no
and
rules.
It was like, it's like, well, it has rules, but they're just not enforced,
They're,
right?
like, super loose.
I mean, this was
For
gonna
an
happen.
example,
right? There's always got to be one.
Well, so here's what's crazy is that even if there's no rules on a platform, you can be still held to a legal standard, right? Things are still illegal regardless of if the platform holds it.
Super
For an
Bowl.
example, Aiden Ross streamed the Super Bowl on Kick.com live to everyone on his Twitch chat,
That
which
is
is
copyrighted.
incredibly illegal.
And so
And-
I was gonna say, did he not know that?
He makes enough money for it to be a problem, right? Like, you make enough money where the NFL may have to actually go after you, but the biggest thing I wanted to bring up was that Kick.com maybe starts seeing some of these bigger streamers move over there. And that may be something we'll see, but I just don't think it'll be enough for it to kick off because it's, you know, the wild, wild west, or to me, it's Mad Max. Like, it's completely ludicrous. That site is...
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
haven't.
crazy.
I gotta look
It's
at it.
junk
I haven't
now.
been on there.
Plus, one of the other things about Kick.com is like there's been porn on there. There's people getting fucked live on stream. There's no level of.
Maybe I don't need to go on.
There's just no level of like anything, right? On
Oh my
Twitch,
God.
now like mind you, Twitch isn't the golden boy or anything like that.
No,
but at
they've
the end
had
of the day,
that shit
there's
too,
a
on
standard,
Ninja's
right?
Channel.
Oh, right. There was
You
that
remember
one
that
girl
shit?
that got the referred channel that was
Yeah.
getting fucked on stream, you know, or there was porn on
Yeah.
stream, the Russian channel. But at the end of the day, like, Twitch does attempt to uphold a standard. I don't think that Kick.com does do that, which Kick.com is also a project that is run by what's the betting website that it's Stake.com.
Oh,
Stake.com.
So
yeah.
it's actually a Stake.com company. So essentially Kick.com is a front. It's almost like money laundering. It's like a front for you to go
I mean, so
and gamble
it's
on
just,
their site. Like,
it's just a live streaming casino. That's all we're talking about.
yeah. And that's one of the biggest things too.
Casino,
Is like,
strip club,
well,
escort service.
that's one of the things about Kick.com is one of the biggest things that people view on there is gambling. So
Sounds
it's like
pretty lit.
this is just a gambling platform at this point.
This literally just sounds like a casino online.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little silly. I don't think it has any real staying
I
power.
think it's missing is alcohol.
The only thing that Kick.com has going for it is what we talked about in the previous episode about Kick.com, which was the splits. They're talking about doing a 95-5 split between the streamer.
So it's improved. It went from a 90-10 split to a 95-5.
Was it 90-10? It's like
It was
95 or
90
90-10.
It
It's
was
one of the
90 to 10
two.
at the inception.
They're also offering like full guaranteed contracts and that to big streamers. That's like one of the big draws. I just don't think it's anywhere where you can grow your platform because I don't think the website's taken seriously. When you have no standard, people
I'm
don't take you
about to say
seriously.
that. Yeah, when you have no standard, I feel like
Yeah.
you just
Like,
yeah.
imagine they're like, hey, we're gonna do a new football league. It's just gonna be Tom Brady versus a bunch of 5-year-old quarterbacks.
I mean,
you know,
granted, Twitch started as Justin.tv, so I mean,
but I think that one of the things that they're running into is that platforms have to build over time because it has to be curated. Like, things have to be cultivated, and an environment and a community has to be cultivated from the ground up.
yeah,
It can't be bought. And that's one thing that Mixer ran into, and that's one thing that I think the Kick.com is going to run into. Platforms can't be bought, and they can't be like artificially inflated because those things aren't stable. They don't last. They don't create good foundations for anything. Because of the way Twitch started, it's different.
The only thing with that, right, is like you saw a rise in YouTube streaming, right, and Facebook streaming when you had like Stone Mountain started streaming on Facebook a lot, and then you had the whole controversy with Dr. Disrespect, right, and then you started seeing other streamers kind of start going, oh well, fuck, YouTube pays better. I'm going to start going over there, right? So I think what Trainwrecks is hoping for is that kind of like hype train to like leave and get enough people that are, you know, controversial enough to leave to bring attention to the site and have that be the basis for the building. And I like that honestly seems like what they're trying to do is to get a decent poll of dudes that have enough pull to pull viewers away from Twitch and to get more people to follow.
Yeah, I mean the problem is that their audience that primarily watches these streamers are straight up L ratio zoomers.
Yeah.
Like they're not, you know what I mean?
Zoomers.
I mean, look at Kai Cenat's chat. I actually think his streams are super interesting because he's so out of the box with his ideas. But his chats are like I've watched it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I see clips of it from Jake Lucky, who reports like streamers and stuff.
I do see the clips.
So like
I saw the one where the one chick like broke something on his stream.
That was Blueface's girlfriend. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah,
but he has all different things on there. He'll have one where he's like learning to salsa dance. He has one where he's like, he just does the most outlandish shit. So he's a very entertaining personality. But at the end of the day, the stream and the viewers and the community he has is a bunch of L ratio zoomers. That's nothing against him. 100% into the community that's driven there. Same thing with Aiden Ross. Same thing with some of those other streamers in that ecosystem. And I just don't see where those people garner anything that reflects a staying power or an actual community that will ride with you.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like Ninja, Dr. Disrespect, Lupo, Courage, like those cats that have a solid, like almost cult following.
Yeah.
You have to pull someone like that, I feel, to your platform. It's like,
well, even then, I don't think that's enough because we saw this with Mixer.
Yeah, actually, I don't know. I feel like the biggest one's probably like XQC. I feel like he has a driving power between both viewership and fellow like streamers to actually have any impact like that. And he's also a mixture of like, you know, the L zoomers that you're talking about, but also, you know, boomers.
I mean, you gotta put it this way. I don't know if there's a problem that Kick.com solves that Twitch isn't doing, right? At the end of the day, when we talk about like a product or we talk about just any business proposition, like what does it solve? What does it do for me that someone else isn't doing? I don't think it does anything.
Where the money is.
But but that doesn't matter because it's been proven before multiple times that the money, you cannot buy these things. That's the same mistake that Mixer had, because at the end of the day, the problem is not the streamers in the platform. The problem is the viewers being brought there. So when people were attempting to go to Mixer didn't fail because they didn't bring the right personalities. They brought the biggest streamer in the world at the time. Someone who was having Drake on stream, right?
Yeah.
They brought the biggest personality they could possibly get. And that didn't do anything because at the end of the day, people watched his stream. His numbers were less than half. They were on Twitch, and none of them stayed to watch other streams. That's literally in the analytics of the site.
I feel like the streamer like does have an impact on it because of what they're streaming. Like, because you're talking about Ninja, right? Ninja is like a pretty hardcore gamer, and when you're talking about someone like XQC is not that gamer anymore.
But it's not about them watching XQC stream. That's the biggest crux of this issue. It doesn't matter if they watch XQC stream. It's about them watching XQC stream and staying to watch someone else's, right?
Yeah.
Because if our only play is around XQC, then we only have 40,000 viewers. But if we can get enough attention to garner from enough people that they then watch a second stream and go on to the next person, or that they want to stay on the platform, that's what the success of the platform is built off of.
Right.
Right.
No, and I'm not saying that Kick's. I'm not saying Kick's winning people over if it's going to be XQC. But I'm saying to pull people to even to pull people over to even want like be like, okay, actually, let me look at another stream. That's what I'm talking about as well. I'm not saying Kick's the one to do it.
Like, dude, I'm not gonna lie. When Dr. Disrespect went to YouTube, right? Like, I was excited to see him stream again, but I definitely watched him less, right? But now that other personalities have also come over to YouTube, right? Lupo, Tim, Courage, like, I watch a lot more YouTube live streaming now. And that's just because there's multiple entities now that are on there that I also watch and follow.
Yeah.
Where I actually watch less Twitch.
It's what YouTube did of grabbing a community. So for an example, when they grabbed Valkyrie, they also grabbed Fuslie, and they grabbed one of their
offline
friends.
TV, basically.
Yeah, they basically grabbed all the offline. And then for the same thing for Dr. Disrespect, they grabbed Lupo, they grabbed Courage JD. So they're grabbing these communities, which I think is a way better approach for sure.
Right.
I just think that what is greatly being is not just garnering enough weight from the developers, things like that, is how hard it is and how difficult it is for people to stay on your platform. Like, there has to be enough people, there has to be a slew of streamers for me to pick from to get me to stay. And that's all I'm really getting at. When everyone on your website is a 5-viewer Andy, like, no one's gonna stay and watch it. Because at the end of the day, no one cares about someone who has 5 views. Like, there's not a dedicated group of people who are like, ooh, you know what I really want to see? This small streamer. Let me go watch this 2-viewer guy who has low production value, dog shit audio quality, and doesn't have any like views or a nice webcam. So essentially what this podcast is as a whole, right?
Bro, I was trying so hard to explain that shit. I was like, when I go down, because I'll do that from time to time. I'll just scroll down to like see who's streaming, like bored, right?
I'll be honest, I don't.
Go give somebody a view, right? So I'll go through. If I go on their stream and it's got like crisp audio, like a good camera, he's like trying to interact, or he or she, it doesn't matter, or whatever, right? And they're like interacting and shit and like actually trying. I'll leave it going. I'll leave the shit pulled up. I'm like, yeah, this dude's actually trying, right? But if I go on there and it's a Motorola mic and the dude's like beating his dog in the background or some shit, like throwing his controller, I'm like, I'm out. Like,
so if it's like your janky ass stream would be, then is that...
yeah, exactly, like breaking shit.
No, but at the end of the day, I just think it's like that's the biggest thing that gets underappreciated by people when they look at this. Like, you can bring in an XQC, but at the end of the day, it's better spent getting 100 different streamers that bring in 500 people than it is to bring in one XQC, right?
Yeah, no, and I'm gonna completely agree with you on.
I know you are
not solving any problems, because Kick's gonna be just the catch-all, the ones that aren't welcome anywhere else, and the ones who couldn't make it anywhere else.
It's everyone that broke terms of service on the real platform.
And I mean, that's why, you know, Jared's whole point of it being Mad Max is right, because it's the Junkertown, you know, like Overwatch. it's those kinds of people.
It's Junkertown.
This is like Watchpoint Gibraltar. This is Junkertown. Like,
yeah. So I'm in complete agreement there, where it's like
fucking Piltover.
Yeah, Zon and Piltover.
But it's like Twitch is making a lot of mistakes now, where it's just like someone, just the right person with the right mind, just has to come around to bring that streaming service that everyone's looking for.
I think that Twitch just would just have to like
catchy name, dude.
Well, no, I mean I don't think there's anything wrong with Kick.com. I think it's just the fact that like Twitch is at the point, like I said, I brought them up before, but like Netflix as an example. Netflix cannot fail unless Netflix fails itself, right? Which is what it's doing right now. Twitch is in the same boat. Unless Twitch actively drives people off their platform, they won't fail like that. Unless there's some new innovative process that some streaming platform brings along, right?
Well, it's also Twitch can't even follow their own terms of service. Like their team doesn't know their own TOS.
I mean, yeah, that's a completely separate. But at the end of the day, it's like not something that just drives people away enough to where, like, even though it's like it's right for people to take from them, but not for them to lose. You know what I mean?
Do away with the Twitch Prime free rewards, kills the platform.
Well, also the biggest thing is loot boxes, or not loot boxes, but
I can't get my free Octane skin.
The drops.
Yeah, the Twitch drops.
The Twitch drops.
Yeah, Twitch drops carries the platform more than anything else. Because I mean, look, Hogwarts Legacy had 1.3 million views. What?
I think that Twitch drops just inflates views and is like not a realistic depiction of what money it's actually bringing in.
It gets,
but you know what? It gets people to the site and it gets advertisers to pay money.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
You know what? It is what it is. You know,
because I mean,
do away with Twitch drops, it kills the platform.
I mean, I believe it, but I mean, I think that's I think that this is going in a interesting direction with the whole YouTube.com, with Twitch.tv, and with Kick.com. We'll have to see how it develops, but I think that's actually a good.
All right, so let's talk about our NFT. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's a good place to wrap up the podcast. We're actually going to be releasing our own NFT collection of our a mold of our assholes. So if you're just kidding,
it's called the Get Fucked collection.
No, it has to be something that is SFT, right? So, but anyway, thank you guys for watching episode 20. Really interested to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you for everyone who comments down below, leaves a like, all that type of stuff. But let us know what you think about the YouTube streamer atmosphere landscape moving forward, as well as some of your thoughts on canceling, or kind of mentioned some canceling in regards to voice actors and in regards to cheating with the whole
in
Final
real
Fantasy.
life and video games.
So let us know what you guys think. Thank you for watching episode 20. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out.
Appreciate you guys.